A very common observation within the first few weeks of people who start the wheat belly lifestyle, like the wheat belly 10-day grain detox, is they say, I'm no longer hungry. I used to have around the clock cravings, or I couldn't stop eating after dinner, even when I was full. I wanted dessert and wanted to nibble at things, or I get really hungry in the middle of the night, or I eat breakfast at 7 a.m. and I'm hungry by 8:30 or 9. I have a snack and I'm hungry again by 10:30 or 11. I can't wait till lunch. So all those effects go away on the wheat belly lifestyle. The reason for that is wheat and related grains like rye, barley, and to some degree corn have a protein. In wheat, it's called gliadin. In rye, it's called cicolin. In barley, it's called hordein. In corn, it's called zein. That upon partial digestion, because we can't digest these proteins fully, because they're from the seeds of grasses, grains, and humans lack the digestive ability to break down most of the components of the seeds of grasses. That's why you can't cut your lawn and save the clippings for a salad. So when we're exposed to the gliadin protein, we can only partially digest it. But very curiously, the small pieces that remain, the peptides, act as opiates. But they don't make us high. They bind to the opiate receptors of the human brain and they stimulate appetite, often dramatically. So it amps up our desire for food. We can't seem to ever be satisfied. And that's why people just want to eat all the time and overeat. And it also tends to amp up appetite for junk, not for steak, not for butter, not for olive oil, but for chips and cookies and crackers and breakfast cereals and the junk foods like that, typically made of grains and sugars. So it's no wonder that grain-consuming people get fat and diabetic and develop all kinds of health problems. But if you understand that, you are freed of that appetite-stimulating opiate effect. Grains also send blood sugars sky high, and high blood sugars are followed by low blood sugars about 90 to 120 minutes later. So when you eat grains or sugars, you enter this 2-hour or so cycle of hunger. Because when the blood sugar drops, hypoglycemia, you get shaky and foggy and angry and anxious and very, very hungry, and you will do anything to get some food in your body because your body wants to protect its blood sugar. So grains also amplify appetite by that means. There are also appetite-stimulating other effects. It's suspected, for instance, that wheat germ agglutinin, via a hormonal effect, amps up appetite. In other words, in the form of wheat and related grains, you have very potent appetite stimulants. And I believe that's the reason why wheat and cornstarch in particular, and other corn products, has been added to virtually every processed food since 1960. This was not true in the 1950s, say, where wheat and other grains was confined to pretty obvious places like bread and rolls and pancake mix. And in this century, wheat and related grains are found in those common, obvious places, but also in licorice and soup mixes and canned soup and frozen dinners. In fact, it's very difficult to identify processed foods that don't contain grains and thereby stimulate appetite. But if you understand this and recognize it, you have astounding power over appetite, impulse, in your food choices. You take grains out of the diet and don't restrict fat, right? We enjoy fat. We use more butter and coconut oil. And we never eat lean meats. We eat the fat. We don't use low-fat dairy. We use full fat like cream and cheese and butter. And you do all that, and if your interest is weight loss, weight falls off of you at an astounding pace. And other health benefits develop, like drops in blood sugar, drops in blood pressure, reversal of gastrointestinal diseases, etc. So the wheat belly lifestyle frees you from the incessant hunger induced by grains, and you are freed of that constant need for food. And you're going to say things like, I'm not hungry anymore. I had breakfast at 7, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I might eat, I might not. Or 8 or 9 o'clock at night rolls around, you say, oh, I forgot to eat dinner. So You'll never hear grain eating people say those kinds of things, but you're going to find yourself saying those kinds of things once you banish all grains and their appetite stimulating effects.